Okay there, so weird cat. I'm gonna quickly go over, you know, games that I like that harken back to the PS3, since the PS4 is now the current gen system, and sort of a retrospective on what it could do and what awesome games it has. So let's just get to it, I guess. So I'm just gonna scroll through some of the games that I have here. Well, it's like half my collection, really. So first is the first two Batman Arkham games. I don't have Origins yet. Soon, probably in July. Um, but yeah, I love both these games. Who doesn't? I mean, what can you say that hasn't been said? A really interesting battle system. Really cool way of solving puzzles and using detective vision and other weird shit. They're just really, really interesting. I love that for it. Both these are the Game of the Year editions. Obviously, there won't be one for Arkham Origins because one, people didn't like it as much as the last games, and two, I guess people weren't that impressed with the E3 trailer, surprisingly. So yeah, oh, I'll still get Arkham Origins, just regular version and all. At least it's down in price. Although I heard the Cold Heart DLC was a lot more interesting, and I did see all the cutscenes and gameplay for that anyway already, and it's pretty cool. A lot more interesting than the story I saw for Arkham Origins, so kind of agree. But yeah, I love the Batman and this game. Next is a game. Um, it's a racing game, and I played one of them before, and I heard this one was like the best one, and it was the last one they ever did until they started doing a different racing series, and that is Burnout Paradise by Criterion Games. Um, I don't know why they stopped after this game. Well, they signed a deal with EA, and now they make Need for Speed. I really want a new Burnout though. Please have some other racing studio do it at least. This Burnout is awesome. Oh well. Still, this game is like really cool. It's open world and shit, and now the graphics aren't that amazing, but and it's a lot slower than most of the other Burnouts that I've played, but still really awesome. Check it out if you haven't already, which is greatest hits, so I assume you already have. Um, Next, there are a couple collections sprinkled through here, and this is one of them. And that is the Devil May Cry HD collection. It's one of the few that has that banner in America. They should have more of these. And why did they stop making collections, Sony? Come on, I could think of a million more. Even to just trilogy packs. You already did one for like, you did double packs. Give me like an Uncharted trilogy on like, probably put them on 2 discs really. Especially with the first game not really pushing the system. But yeah, Devil May Cry HD. This is the first time I ever played Devil May Cry 2. Boring as sin, like people told me. First game, pretty cool. I played it before. Same with the third. I love the third game. Probably my favorite in the series. But yeah. And I used to have Devil May Cry 4, but it was really irritating, slow, and just plain stupid. So I was like, fuck this, and I sold it to some poor sucker on Amazon. But yeah, if you like Devil May Cry 4, I'm sorry. Opinions, we got them. Yeah, I like Devil May Cry. It's cool. Speaking of Devil May Cry, DMC. I like this reboot. Yes, it's different. This Dante starts out as an alcoholic asshole who loves getting pussy. Then he becomes a sobered up guy who still kind of likes pussy and makes a lot of really funny sex jokes. He always has to have the last line. But I love this game. It was really cool. And it had as great of a battle system as Devil May Cry, but faster, which I like. Because that was the one problem with Devil May Cry that I had, was it was, for an action game, it's kind of slow. You got jabs and shit, but it wasn't like as fast as I wanted. This improves it. That's why I'm hoping to make a sequel, but with Capcom drowning, I doubt it. Next is Dragon Age Origins. I just got into this. I need to play some more of it, because it is fun. Now, I still hate that it's like, you know, um, auto attack for this game, but I hear the second game I heard is supposed to be action oriented, and I'm gonna get that. And I'm waiting for Dragon Age Inquisition, which will apparently have both as options. So, and it'll have the customization of this game and an interesting story and shit and classes. So I'm like, yes, I love elves. That's what I chose for this game, and I'll probably choose it again if it's an option in Inquisition. So, yes, I'm excited. Next is a 2D, 3D game. It's kind of weird. It's supposed to be based off Hebrew mythology. You're an angel, and you're supposed to destroy fallen angels. And it's called El Shaddai, Ascension Metron. Sadly, people who made this game are no longer making games. This flopped, and I guess this is their last chance. But it was really fun. It's on 360 as well. Check it out, especially if you're into, like, it only has 3 weapons though, but it's a really fun and simple game. It does have some other variations though in the gameplay. Like I said, 2D side-scrolling levels, 3D levels, it has a lot. So check it out. The Resistance series, I never beat any of them, so I really should go back and check these out. But sci-fi shooter, almost everyone's heard of them. The third game sold like shit because people were over Resistance, and Insomniac and Sony don't know how to advertise the word diddly dick. So, yeah. Next is the Yakuza series. Check it out. I shouldn't have to tell you, but it's a 3D beat-em-up series. Check it out. And Sega and Atlas, please bring the HD collection to America. I beg you. I want 1 and 2 in HD and with the Japanese audio with English subtitles, because I love Yakuza 1, but it's funny hearing English voice actors. It really is. Next is the Uncharted series. I brought the third game. 2 and 3 are very similar and they're fun. And it's hard for me to decide which one's better, because the two for me had better online multiplayer, had more interesting modes, but that's just me. That and the gameplay wasn't like stunted, and yes, 3 added sprint, ready for sprinting, even though it doesn't seem to work half the time. But you know, both these games are awesome. I love that this one went for a more personal story. That's why I liked it a lot. Some people are disappointed because basically have the same story as 2. You're against an evil warlord. Well, sort of. And to get some treasure that's not really a treasure. I mean, that's it. And I thought it was more well done here in terms of overall, but I thought the second one just, extended it out more and made it slightly more interesting, even though it wasn't as personal. It was more about everyone, which is probably why some people didn't like this one, because Elena doesn't really have much to do with it other than, we're divorced now. Oh, we were married? No explanation almost at all, which that was one of my only peeves, really. Yeah. I love Uncharted, if you couldn't tell. And I just love Naughty Dog in general. They've never let me down. Yeah, almost never let me down. I love Jack X. That was great. Crash Team Racing, that was cool. So, yeah. Next is one of my favorite Sonic games ever, and I wish they would continue this style, just in Sonic in general, but they won't. They haven't. And that's disappointing. And that is Sonic Generations. Obviously, I got it after everyone else, but I really like this game. Yes, the story was basically just shut to the side because they had to meet a deadline for the fans, but nonetheless, I still like the game. Check it out if you haven't already. And next is one of these games in this collection. I've only played here, and I think it looks a lot better here from what footage I've seen on YouTube and shit. And that is the Sly Collection by Sanzaru Games. And I just started playing Sly 4 because it was free on PlayStation Network this month. Um, and that's awesome. I love this collection. I love Sly. It's one of the most interesting platforming games ever. People who still always bring up Mario, I'm like, why do you like Mario still? What does he do that no other character can do? Triple jump? That's it. A lot of characters can do butt stomps and can punch things now, okay? Jak and Daxter on PlayStation Vita, PS3, and PS2 now. You can play it on almost anything. That game can do all that and more. In the second games, you can get weapons, you can ride vehicles, you can... Yeah, it's hard as shit, but still. In Jak 3, same thing, but even more weapons, more varied environments. What does Mario do that hasn't been done a million times over now? When people say Mario's original, he was original when he came out in the 80s, not now. Okay, you know, I love platformers and I love action games, and PS3 has it in spades. You know, I love that. Platforming games, you have Ratchet and Clank, which I don't have any of them right now, sadly. You know, there's I already mentioned all these games. I have the Jak and Daxter collection. I didn't bring it with me, obviously, just because it's on every system. Why should I explain it? Jak and Daxter, people love the first game. I just got into the first game. It's cool. I used to hate it with a passion because it was so slow compared to the other games, and the sequels, which were much darker, obviously. But you know, it's really interesting. You know, the original Ratchet and Clank games. You know, PS3, what can it do besides action platforming games? It has RPGs, which I don't think I have any besides Dragon Age here. You know, there's several. There's Resonance of Fate. There's Star Ocean. I don't like talking about Final Fantasy because 13 sucked horribly, and they tried to make it a trilogy. People really didn't care. The few people who cared tried to make their voices heard, but I just want to ignore them because it was like, it started with 13. That's all you need to base it on. Most linear of almost any Final Fantasy game. It is the most linear Final Fantasy game. Just about. How can you defend it? The control scheme was boring. You can change... There's an easy way to completely rearrange the control scheme. You take the 3 different battle commands using L1, if I recall, because I got rid of that game. You map them to square, triangle, and circle, or map that stupid one battle command. I think you use like only if you have to save it. You have to wait till you use a certain amount of commands and hit square. And you get a weird robot to your side or some shit. You know, just map that to L1 instead. It's a lot easier and use more buttons rather than just pressing X, X, X for everything, and then just hit square to summon the stupid thing. No, dumb. And there really should have been more commands. It was the 7th generation of gaming when Final Fantasy 13 was out, and they still didn't have any decent battle commands, any variation. Just like you got your 3 basic attacks for the first couple hours of the game. No variation. I replayed the first 4 hours of the game 4 times. 3 or 4 times. Same basic outcome, except I was changing what type of stats my character had. Using a crystal system. Which, you know, it just basically slowed it down because you have to go to it and basically select which side it's going to go to, which crystal map it's going to go. Which, I admit, it was interesting, but it was way too slow. And it didn't help me in any way. That was just stupid. I had to do that before every save point. You know, do the Crystarium, do the Crystarium, do the Crystarium. I finally level up. Boss comes. Leveled up my character. Totally destroyed. After I've leveled up all of my characters after battling tons of useless enemies. Yeah. But there are tons of RPGs. But if you really need an example, there's Disgaea, the Atelier series, or some people call it Atelier. It's French though, it's Atelier. Whatever. It's French for workshop or some shit. So I just said Disgaea. Anything by NIS basically. Dragon's Crown, Nino Kunai. Some people call it Kuni. I don't know. I haven't played the game. Everyone told me to try it. It's like Pokemon and Digimon, but in a regular game or something. I'm like, it looks cool. I was really hyped for it because it's by my favorite anime studio. That was the one thing I was hyped for. But then it came out and I was just like, I don't care anymore. So, debating on it, I don't know, because I have so many games in the back catalog. You know, I plan on getting Batman Arkham Origins, obviously. You get Uncharted 2 again, because I have the first game and the third game. I still have to get 2 more Sonic games. Because I have all of them for PS3 except the horrible Sonic 06. Because I've heard it was awful. Dragon Age 2. And I want to get Bound by Flame. That's another RPG. I heard mixed things on it, but it looked good enough for me to check out. With PS3, I mean, there's so many exclusive games for it now. It just trumps the 360 in almost any way. People who say 360, you know, its library, yes, it has a bunch of games. It's the multi-plat king. You know, it has every RPG from the PC is basically on it. Like, except for obviously exclusive ones and strategy RPGs. But, you know, in terms of the actual exclusive games, there aren't a lot anymore. You know, PS3 is still getting some small amount of exclusive games before PS4 totally demolishes it. Probably by fall. You know, can 360 say that compared to the Xbox One? No. And that's because they basically just jumped ship the titles that were going to be released for the 360, you know, HD collection and shit, and just put it on the Xbox One. You know, and if you know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about Halo 2 Remastered. They basically were just like, everyone wants this game. Yeah, it's so good. Now we can really make more money off it. Put it on Xbox One. Just to screw over the people who already have a 360 who are actually like hyping the shit out of Halo 2 Remastered. I mean, you can do both and, you know, satisfy all of your fans, not just put it in a huge ass collection of all the first 4 Halo games. Or you know, the numbered games, whatever. You know, but whatever, it is what it is. You know, and I would probably get an Xbox One for that, but I don't feel like it. I'll probably just get a PS4 and a Wii U because Sonic Boom looks awesome. Or Sonic, whatever the hell it was. And then, you know, PS4 because Uncharted 4, Batman Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, that looks awesome. Let It Die, which was kind of interesting. And a whole bunch of other games that are already out or coming out. You know. And who knows, maybe in the end I will get the HD versions of some games. Oh, and Mad Max. Holy crap. Mad Max, dude, that looks so awesome. You know, exclusive content for PlayStation owners again. You know, they did that with Arkham Origins. They do that with, like, several other games. You know, I'm just excited. Yeah, I think Bioshock Infinite, I think it came with the original Bioshock. Um, there are several other games that do that type of thing where it's, you know, you get a game with a game, you know, it doesn't matter if it's old, you still get something. Or exclusive content. I forget what other exclusive content they showed this year at E3 for 2014. Trying to remember. Yeah, I think they had something for Batman. I think they might have something for Battlefield, maybe. Um, and Destiny, yeah, I think they have an exclusive thing for Destiny. And there's supposed to be an actual legit Destiny bundle now, which I'm excited for. Um, just because it's fucking Destiny. One of, you know, Bungie's new titles that is just really interesting. An RPG shooter um, with just tons of options, and I like that. I mean, it makes me think of Borderlands 2, even though I still haven't gotten into that. I'm going to restart and hope I do better. But, yeah, PS3. What can you say about it as I said? And if you have something to add, please put it in the comments. And have a good day.